Hello and welcome to Web 2.0, Who's Blogging Anyway? We're going to focus on the different types of Web 2.0 tools as well as how we can use these tools in the classroom. We're going to look at some of the benefits as well as some of the risks that come with using technology. In case you haven't heard, technology is the driving force for creating future thinkers of tomorrow. Students have a love for technology through gaming, texting, instant messaging, as well as surfing the net. Some of the Web 2.0 tools available are wikis, twittering, podcasting, and blogging. Of course, there are others out there, but these are some of the tools that we can implement as classroom teachers with fresh little... So what is Web 2.0? It's a technology that makes it possible to publish and provide information about what is going on in the world. It allows us to network with others about what we do or may want to do. We can collaborate with peers about teaching practices as well as issues associated with the profession. Web 2.0 makes it possible for us to not only access on a local level or on our national level, but it also allows us to go globally. Just imagine what it would be like if teachers could exchange best practices with other teachers in China or even in Ghana. One of our tools is Wiki, and a wiki is a web-based software that allows users to freely create and edit web page content using a web browser. Wiki supports hyperlinks and has simple text syntax for creating new pages and cross-links between internal pages at will. So how does this work for teachers? Well, teachers can use it to involve students in class discussions as well as involve them in peer editing. Students can comment on peers' writing just by clicking on the discussion tab and posting their particular opinion about that. Teachers can also use it to have students take pictures and post them on a classroom blog, a classroom section, and they can make comments about those pictures and how they might relate to a particular theme or topic in that classroom for that particular week or that particular month, depending on what's happening in your own curriculum. Another tool is Twitter, and their motto is the best way to discover what's new in your world. So Twitter is basically a 140 character mini blog that answers the question, what are you doing? Each post is known as a tweet, and users follow the tweets of their network. So a teacher can tweet, and the followers, which would be her students, would then follow her and make responses, but then all the students will become one another's followers. So everyone tweets, everyone follows. So how can we use this in the classroom? Well, we're using it as another form of communication. As a classroom teacher, you can post a question about something you did in the classroom, and because of the 140 character limit, your students would have to be very brief in making a response to that particular question, thereby cutting down on a lot of writing assignments that kids take home. And this makes it also possible for them to just tweet at will when they're in the comfort of their own home. It also can help students who are struggling. They can tweet their problem, and their classmates can tweet back how to solve that particular problem. So Twitter is something new and great. So podcasting, this is another tool. This is a series of audio or video on the web that can be cataloged and automatically downloaded. Teachers can have the class view podcasting as a way of broadcasting like in a radio station does, except you can videotape yourself with audio, and then you can uplink that particular audio using what's called an RSS or a really simple syndication. And that type of an example of that particular syndication is iTunes through Apple. And when students record, they just put it online and they can just distribute it to others with the RSS. If the teacher wanted students to discuss conflicts between characters in plays or like a tragedy, they can sit and have a roundtable discussion, videotape it, upload, and then have peers comment about what that experience was like or whether they disagree or agree with what they think about particular characters in that tragedy. This is a great thing that we can utilize. The final one we're going to talk about is blogging. And blogging is basically a term used to describe websites that maintain an ongoing chronicle of information. It features a diary-type commentary or journal with links to an article or other websites. And blogs, they're not new, And they can range from personal to political, and they can focus on one narrow subject or a whole range of topics. They can work in our classroom because teachers can post a question for students to respond, and students can comment on one another's responses for a grade if possible. It's environmentally friendly because there's no paper. One particular search engine is Google. Google offers web page building, blogging, and emailing all in one location, making this very simple. A teacher can decide that each student is going to create their own blog on a theme. Let's say the theme is about family, and all students can have to do is utilize pictures, poems that relate to family, even create their own, and then upload all this onto their blog site, and then post their blogging so that their classmates can view and basically critique it, and teacher can do the same. So there are some benefits that come along with blogging. For example, it makes it possible for students to reflect on the day's discussion. Parents can see the class page and have up-to-date information as well as see what their child is learning. Teachers can have students draft thoughts for peer editing. It also promotes interaction for those students who are considered to be shy. It also increases relationships with classmates and teachers. Students become less dependent on the teacher because it'll foster self-learning. Once self-learning happens, students become more curious about what they're doing, and then they become more inclined to discover on their own. Learning becomes it's no longer isolated. It creates a social collaboration. Students are more willing to work with one another just to get that information or that feedback on what they're doing in the classroom. So that those benefits are something that we need to look at and possibly show parents. But keeping in mind, when we have benefits, we have risks. And some of the risks that we need to think about is that if we don't have an acceptable use policy in place, then what we're doing won't work. We need to make sure that students understand that there are sites out there that are inappropriate for their eyes. We also need to let them know that there are predators out there and that they have to be careful about what they are doing when on the internet and when they're creating their blogs. They don't want to put pictures on there that could be considered inappropriate, that can cause harm to them as well as to the school. So it's very important that we also get parent permission and that they know what we're doing and how blogging is going to be utilized in the classroom. And it's also important to teach kids etiquette so they learn how to use dialogue and then they're not hurting their peers' feelings when making comments. Make sure we take care of those situations. So just a few things that we need to remember. That one thing is that blogging is something we all can utilize. The benefits of blogging far outweigh those issues. It also allows our students to demonstrate their level of understanding of concepts. So let's give our students the opportunity to show what they've learned, and let's show what we can do as educators with technology. We don't run from it, we embrace it, and we show our students how to embrace it as well. Thank you, and I appreciate your time and your effort.